Great to be here. Thank you very much. I'd like to talk to you about what we just heard. If I can get the slides here somehow. Here we go. We need to understand the culture and the environment, what people like, don't like. What we heard many times today, how we bring the human to the ad tech and Martech. That's very complicated, but that's very innovative and challenging as well, very rewarding. So we need to do these very unconventional, unorthodox mergers of different data that we can actually measure as a Martech. We can scale them up, we can use them as a service. That's what I'm here to talk about. Before we can get to the understanding of the culture and environment and getting somebody to get interested on something, we need to make sure that we target our display ads, in this case what I'm going to talk about, really the Formula One of reaching somebody's mind and heart. We need to talk about, are we really targeting towards what really matters? Before we can get to any cultural understanding of our marketing activities, we need to first get to the first point, and that usually is in online environment, that's our visual attention. We can use our eyes as a kind of a first point metrics to make any sense of anything in most cases. So that's what we're going to talk about. Are we targeting our campaigns in digital environment towards what matters the most? And I think being 20 years doing this as an ad agency guy, as I'm still doing, and now with Viomba as our startup, we aren't actually doing that. And the reason what's going on here and what's happening is that, you know, all of this, over 80%, we can see that there's people in online media. We can see exactly how many visitors are there that potentially are exposed to our content, but we cannot see other than less than 20%. And why is that? Of course, it's a digital environment, at least we can see some of it. But the fact is that we can just measure pretty much click as it comes to the ad conversion. And all the KPIs are based on the click. But we are doing the click-based attribution models and all of that. What happens with all of your budgets is what we can do, what we can measure, but we know also through studies that only 10% of the people that ever click, which are either not fraudulent or bot-based, 10% of those clicking people of us give 90% of those clicks. So we come in the end to very end corner where we get the actual sense of whether something works or delivers and what we pay for. It doesn't make any sense. You know, that's waste of money. We don't have anything from these people other than that we know that they're there. So why don't we try to understand what it is that we can see from there? So basically, we have to ask these questions. Was our paid impression ever seen or not? It's still asked, and it should be asked. But since we can really measure it, well, let's get that to the scenario. You know, is it statistically seen in live media or not? It doesn't matter if we invite people, focus groups to labs and show them some nice pictures and think that, you know, do you like the ending of my TV spot? It doesn't matter. It's not actionable. We cannot use it while the campaign is happening. We cannot scale it up. It doesn't matter. So we need to do it in a tactical manner. We need to also understand a lot of technical data together with this biometric data. Was it loaded in-screen or off-screen? The medias today don't really give you that. They give you the inventory, the system data, but they don't tell you that was it ever loaded in-screen, below, or above the fold. Some of them do. In Nordics, we are a little bit behind there. Of course, you need to know which kind of a media statistically deliver more seenability than the others. What kind of an environment is there for visually to attract better people? You need to understand all of that. So after that, we can get the whole picture to us, much more. As a marketers, we like to put our little sticky fingers to everybody's soul and touch them and get more bang out of our money. So we need to understand this. So the reason why we are so obsessed with the clicks only doesn't make it anymore. We have capabilities to go further. So it's not really new thing to look into. There's a guy that most of us or some of us remember. He already stated back in 1890, Mr. Elmo Lewis said in his marketing study back then, when there was only print available, he very much understood the fact which will remain until we'll all live in the space and Mars, that the mission of an advertisement is to attract the reader so that he will look at the advertisement. That's the first point to accomplish. That's where it all starts. If your ad was never seen, how can it affect anything? You don't see the difference in your attribution model if the bot clicked your ad, but you might go nuts with it, with your budget. Don't go there. So he goes on with this, and we all know what he came up with back then. It's still the most fundamental funnel that we use in our marketing. Max was talking nicely about this ongoing loop, what we nowadays in always on marketing do and optimize. But there's all these funnels all over it. This is still what Mr. Elmore said in 1890. We need to first get attention. Once we build attention, it turns into interest. Then it goes to desire to get something. It goes to under our skin, and then we might get some good action. So that's the funnel we need to understand and still use. So what we know pretty much that 80% of all of the ads, and we actually factually know 95% confidence level, that 80% of programmatically purchased ad impressions are never seen by human eye for many, many reasons. But when we start to understand and put that biometric data in a numeral form into that scenario, we can increase 25% of seenability of your ads in a live media. And that's huge. You know, during these 20 years in marketing, I've been in many meetings popping champagne once we increase the click-through rate with the 5%, and woo, you know, that's amazing. So you cannot really compare those. So what we can now see that 250% of the ads seen is kind of an average where we can reach. So what we need to do there and what we need to understand, going back to this never dying wisdom of the funnel thinking, that more of the attention we can get, for sure, we build more interest, and all of the other layers, all the way to the action, just gets wider. Not depending, it doesn't matter what is your audience segment and attribution models and what you've done in your DSP programmatic buying rules. Of course, you need the system data as well, otherwise it doesn't work. But more people seeing your ads works for any audience and segment, because all of us on this planet have the same visual sense that works exactly pretty much the same. We can see that between an 18-year-old student and 75-year-old man or woman, there's not much difference. If the vision works, it does what it does for the first second or two. Then the brain does something else. But we focus on the attention first, so we need to get somebody to see our stuff the most. So what it means that we need to move from this cost per mille system data and money to add our visual sense to it, and it opens totally new levels of how we can actionably, tactically optimize our marketing. That's what's taking place and has to happen. It has to happen in desktop, mobile, in some massive social medias like Facebook as well. That's what takes you to totally different ball game, basically. Let me show you what I mean. We just pulled for this here, only for your eyes only, in a funny way. I show you something that we pulled out of the Viomba platform last night with my CTO, Veikko, who's standing back there being all scared. Anyway, we took some of the examples from the platform that we've been collecting from live medias. All of your campaigns, we can see them, because if you buy them, we can see them from programmatic and other ad placements in all of the DSP connected inventories. We take snapshots of them daily, thousands of them. We measure their attention, whether they were seen, whether they're loaded in-screen, out-screen. And for example, of the 980-400 parade banner, which is usually the big one up there once you land on any page, you can see, not to go to very much detail, but there's a massive difference on viewability and seenability in a real media, whether you are somewhere there in that with your campaign. This is actual data. A lot of your pillars are there. You should know which one is it, because you can make quite a much more out of your euro if you know where you are. So one with the mobile, 300 by 300, even more difference there. Mobile works a bit differently. Our vision works a bit differently. In some ways, desktop seen ad is more valuable than mobile, whereas mobile has some other qualities in there. But it's very interesting. The differences are massive. Let me show you quickly. Scientifically, it takes 200 milliseconds for a human eye to be said as a scene something. Anything under, it's kind of a glance or something, kind of an initial impression. But 200 milliseconds is something that we see, and then 200 milliseconds after that, up to 400 milliseconds, our brain catches up and we kind of start to understand what we just saw. Let me show you quickly 3 bad creatives. And then after that, we see 3 little bit better ones. 200 milliseconds, here we go. And of course, you will never see them this big as a piece of art. They are in a cluttered media environment, rammed somewhere. But that's your window of opportunity with your budget. And you can see the difference of something that has an even chance to deliver any attention within that window of opportunity. We like to think digital tactical advertisement still as a print that use every millimeter what you bought. It doesn't work there. You know, your opening hours doesn't really make the difference in that game. So going back to what I'm saying here, we need to bring 4 formally unconnected data universes together to open up something else as a service. It has to happen right now when it happens. We need to put together before and during visual attention, all the DSP buying data, browser data, and all the real media data. And we need to accelerate that measurement by artificial intelligence to make it quicker, faster. But we need the human biometric data there to keep the artificial intelligence insane. It goes bollocks otherwise. So what we've done here now in Finland is that we bring all this input data of the systems, medias, and DSPs, all the creatives, we drive them to our 100 pairs of eyes around Finland working for us day and night. About 3,000 impressions in real medias where we replace the ads exactly as they are bought by DSP. They see them, we measure them. In the meantime, we see everybody else's stuff. And then we put the money into the picture to give you output of very good market analysis, what exactly is being seen from your ads from real medias, what you can do better, how it works, and what is your best cost ratio for each exact ad format. So there you go. You are much more better off. Let me show you. We send our panelists, I don't have much time, but we sent them a Tobii 4C device. Once we recruit them, they install a browser extension and they start calibrating and doing their surfing for us per day. The way they do it is that they have a browser extension which tells them which media daily to visit. We collect data, we show them what they've done. They get €1 per day, and they give us real media red data of all the advertisement there. And they don't see, it's very natural browsing in their home environment, wherever they do it, mobile and desktop. We get exactly what is there. That's what they see. And under the hood, we can recognize all the ads by their ID and DSP buying data and exactly what was seen. Bam, that's where the magic happens. You can start to activate and go through visual attention rather than clicks, because those people still are influenced by you. The same with the mobile emulation, where the browser thinks it's mobile and all the mobile ads being driven there. So that's how it works. We have hundreds of those recruited. They don't know which ad we replace. They don't know what we track. They just work with their eyes. They could actually not even affect what they see because it's an involuntary time before 200 milliseconds. So we get these new parameters to optimize our ad way. We can play with the media placement, time of the day, and mostly with the creative in all of these different channels. These are few Omnicom results, our pilot media agency we work with, where we were able to, over 50, to come under 18 euros per scene ad, measured 95% confidence level. Of course, you get more clicks and conversion because you make the funnel wider. With the 10,000 euro budget, we gave 9,200 extra. You don't never do that with the click attribution model optimization. If you do, give me a call. I want to learn from you. Another one with no clicking thing in the ad. You still made almost double the thing, the same thing happened, and even 17% went to the landing page, even though there was nothing to click, because they just saw more of the stuff. Something from under the hood, it's too small to see, but we provide each creative data, how they've been seen, how many impressions were shown to how many panelists, what is in-screen, what is the seenability, all of that. You can analyze it easily. Then you go further, you can see the heat maps evolving from real medias dynamically. What was the first landing point, what they actually saw, and going towards 1 second, what they start to look about it. So you can optimize your creative in a different level. Then the money and the impressions come together and you optimize your thing and you can see how much you gained with your exact impressions, extra visibility. As in the end, we give an easy scenario tool to choose as many banners with the visibility measured, give your money or impressions as you know, and it tells you what to do. Bam! You put the buying rules to the DSP and off you go. It's the best crystal ball you can get for your ad campaign optimization so far that we know on the planet. Made here, right here in Helsinki for the last 4 years. Thank you very much.